Alright, so for today's video, we are going to be ranking all of the Halo games in the Master Chief Collection, which are currently all the Halo games that I've currently played. The other ones that I haven't being the two Halo Wars games, Infinite and Halo 5. The ones we will be ranking today will be Halo CE, Halo 2, 3, ODST, 4, and Halo Reach. I'll be basing this both off of my opinions on the story and the combination of gameplay. So, starting off with Halo CE, it was the first installment in this franchise, and the pioneer for a lot of other sci-fi games to come, along with other installments in this franchise. Gameplay-wise, it holds up really well. The onboarding for the tutorial is very well done and minimalistic, and you get the hang of it pretty quickly for a first-person shooter that's over 20 years old now. And for story, it sets up this world very well, but since at the time it wasn't meant to be a franchise and just a standalone game, it has a fully completed story within its own IP, and overall it's a solid game. It does show a bit of its age, so it's going top of A tier. Halo 2 is next installment here, and with this coupled with the cinematic cutscenes from the Anniversary remake, the graphics are top notch even though it is almost 20 years old, I believe. And the story on this was one of the longest in the Halo games, and it introduced another character besides the Master Chief that you were able to play as, which was very fun for me. It introduced a new dynamic into this very well-made game, in my opinion. And it gave you a second character to care about, called the Arbiter, which was on the side of the Covenant, the evil side in Halo, along with the Flood being a major player in this as well. Very annoying. Gameplay-wise, it's also very fun. It adds a couple things, such as dual wielding. It makes a couple changes to the ammo and grenades and overall pacing. It has a lot more missions because you're now playing as two characters. I'd say this goes also solidly in A tier, just below Halo CE, just for the legacy and because the knowledge of what it was meant to be versus what we got. A lot of stuff had to be scrapped because it was just too ambitious of a project with too little time, with it being a rush date. Halo 3, another, in my opinion, very well-made installment into the franchise. It expands on the story of both Arbiter and Master Chief, who fight alongside each other this time. And the graphics are really well-made. It's very fun start to finish. I've replayed it 3 times now, and I enjoy it every single time. I'm going to put this in between Halo CE and 2, just on the form of replayability with it. I just have a little more fun with the missions. They seem to have a better pacing than Halo 2 on average. Now, for one of my favorites, Halo 3 ODST. In terms of the soundtrack, the gameplay, and the story, and the number of missions, this ranks highest. I'm going to put it at S tier because story, the soundtrack, the gameplay, all of it is, in my opinion, phenomenal, and it holds up for being over a decade old very well. It's very fun. There's a very deep story that you can explore as much or as little as you want and still have as much fun in the gameplay. Next up is Halo 4. I'm going to put this in low B because the graphics are really good. The story kind of falls off given that this is one made by 343 Studios, whereas the rest were made by Bungie, the original company that made all these games except for Halo 4 on this list. The enemies are just not as fun to fight. The story drags on. The levels are a lot more annoying. The gameplay is still fun, but it just feels like a lot more of a slog than the rest of these, and it just feels like it falls flat on a lot of things. It's still somewhat enjoyable going through. I've replayed it twice, but I don't know how often I'm going to be replaying it, especially compared to the rest of these. So that's where that stands for me. Now, last one, Halo Reach. Halo Reach is a game that I've played, I think, 4 times now. It's probably my favorite Halo game, and it's the first one I played. It's the first person shooter that I played, in fact. And for introducing me to this entire style of game and the Halo franchise, it was incredible in terms of story, and it was a fantastic love letter to the Bungie Halo franchise. I really enjoyed everything about it. Um, yeah, that's where I stand with this short tier list about the Halo games. I'm going to be uploading a couple gameplay videos of the Halo Reach campaign as a bonus video throughout the coming weeks, and I'd like to get your feedback on all of it. Yeah, that's about it for me today. Thanks for watching.